Hello there, it's Paul here and welcome along everyone. Last weekend went to UKISS for the first time and I've got to say I had an absolutely brilliant time. It was nice to meet up with a lot of people I follow on YouTube. There's quite a few people who follow me. There were some that follow me that I wasn't aware of, and it was really nice to meet up with everybody. I went down for the whole weekend and I think I managed to watch probably about one or two of the public demos. The public demos were on all day long, so I think there was about 3 or 4 on Saturday and probably about 3 on Sunday. And like I say, I mean, you're just so busy looking around, talking to people, that you just honestly didn't have any time for much else. Coming back from UKISS, I've come back with several stickers for my fairly bare wall, and I mean in no particular order. Obviously we've got the Makers International sticker, which JP Woodwork brought along. JP mainly does scroll saw work, and I mean we're talking lots of hours of scroll saw work and some wood turning. John Clovier, I mean I have his old sticker, and so these are his new stickers. Also he's brought along the Small Workshop YouTube Makers sticker, which I'm a member of on Facebook. Temple Wood Turnings, Steve Toydell, he was actually doing demos on the Yorkshire grit stand literally all weekend long, and again it's so nice to meet up with Steve. I've been following for quite a while. At the same time on the Yorkshire grit stand, Glyn was coming up with some different stickers and I thought they were actually quite funny. It was really nice to meet up with Soph now from Make It Soph. Really nice, and I believe she's actually in the process of trying to get herself a lathe as well. My good friend from Turning Works, Dave Caffersand, Wayne the wood turner, lives not too far from me, and that is actually one of the bowls he did on a video, which he did actually bring along to UKISS, and it does look absolutely stunning. Stuart Farini, he did actually the very first public demo on the day, and I mean most of you who know me, I'm not a lover of colour, but I love watching the process, how they go about the jobs, and I will say that seeing some of the work he passed out did look absolutely amazing. Lastly but not least, House of Resin was there. If you're into resin casting in the UK, they are the place to go to for all your bits and pieces. I will put links all down below for everybody I met with the stickers and stuff like that, so please do go and check them out. Now yesterday I came out here last night. It's been really hot here for ages now, no sign of rain. Because of that I wasn't really sort of got into any of the projects I've got to make. I decided to do something different, and I'd recently watched Alan Stratton on As Wood Turns, and he's sort of like got a bit of a challenge at the minute to make a spear. And that was my very first attempt at making a spear. At worst case it's probably about 1/2 mil out on one of the dimensions, and I was really pleased with that. I always seem to work hard for myself. Starting off with some really 40mm pine is probably not the easiest thing to turn around. Smaller things just seem to be inevitably harder. So I've come up with this piece of ash that I've got. Again, it could ideally be with 1 inch or 2 longer, but I'm going to turn this round first of all, and I may well make it a little narrower, so at least I've got a little bit more space at the ends. Now this piece of ash is 80mm square, which is just over 3 inches, nearly 3¼ inches. And my downside is it's only 110mm long, which is about 4¼ inches. So it's going to make it a bit harder to working on the ends. So as I said, I may well take this down to something a little bit narrower. But what I do, I've just marked centres just with a pencil or the centre finder, just for ease. And what I do is I just use the live centre to mark those points, and I'm just going to rough this off to round. see what we're down to here. About 75mm, which is 3 inches. Right, we have two important measurements when doing these. One is 0.293 and the other one is 0.414. What we need to do is mark somewhere around the centre of our piece. So that's 55mm. We've just got just over 75mm there, so I'll call that 75mm. Obviously our 75mm is also going to go that way. 37.5mm on that line there is going to be there, and there will be there. So again, we'll draw those lines in. Now, what we need to do is that we need to effectively create this into an octagon. And what I want to do is take these down, first of all, to what will be the length of each of the flat sides. 75 times by 0.293 equals 21.975, which is basically 22mm. 22 is 75 times by 0.414 is 31mm. The length of our top flat piece will be 31mm, so that's 16.5 each side. What we want is a line from here at 16.5 and a line from there 16.5. So that should be right by right be 22mm. If I measure that, if I've got it right, which there we go, we are just about 22mm there and 22mm there. So what I now need to do now is take these sides down to the same as this, which is the 31mm. And then we take this line here, each side from this line here down to the angle. Alright, that's both sides hopefully taken down to 31mm. Right, what I need to do now then is take this line here down to that edge just as a straight 45°, and the same for this line down to the edge of the spindle this side. So I'm just going to use a spindle gouge. Should be nice and sharp, which does make work a lot easier. And it's a lot easier just to go in at one straight angle like that. What I've found is that now I can see that I've got a fairly smaller gap here compared to here, so I just need to alter my angle a little bit more, taking more out from this side, going down that way. And there we should roughly have a 45° angle. So now I'll do the same on this side. And that one should hopefully also be 45 degrees. Now the next job, we want to take these down as much as we can, but still to hold the piece in place. So even though we've got this on, we don't want this being too tight. If we have too much pressure on this, what's going to happen if we take this down fairly thin, if the wood gets a little bit weak, it's just going to buckle the ends off, and it's going to be the end of that. So this is where having a lot longer piece of wood to start with works out a lot easier, because these bits you can then clear out of the way and you'll have better access to there. The next thing is to put a line halfway through there and halfway through there. A line halfway through there. So what I need to do now is round off this piece so that I go from this line to this line, and I don't want to go straight now. I actually want to start curving this a bit, because this bit here has then got to curve down to what would be the centre. So that's got the sides fairly round, and then just really round off this last bit. So it's starting to take shape. The next job, before we take these off, is we want a horizontal line in there. Now what we want to do is part these off, but it doesn't matter if we leave stubs on there, because they will get taken away on the next process. And that will snap off on there. Now that's my piece so far with the ends. As you can see, we've got quite a large nub on there, which isn't a problem, and there's our line that we put round. Now I've created a couple of cupped pieces to hold this in, and I'm quite fortunate actually. I've got one of these live centres that takes all the various different attachments. There's 6 in all. What I've done here, I took a couple of pieces of oak and just basically cut them out, and with this one here, it's on a mini faceplate. So the good thing is that it's only held in with one screw. I've got my line this way. Now the idea is to put it back into it this way. Oh, and these pieces here, what I've done, I've just held them in with a bit of double-sided sticky tape, so I haven't got to keep trying to put them in place every time. What I'll do next is basically just slowly take these off, and the idea is that you'll look for your ghosted image on the other side for where it's uneven, and you'll keep taking it down until you just about get this line to disappear. So it's, like I say, it's not essential that it's in there totally even, because once you've done that once, you'll then put another line on and you'll keep rotating it around and keep doing the same thing. And just keep stopping and checking. As I see, we've taken the line out that side. We're not this side yet because we're not even. See, we've got rid of our line there, and we've got rid of our line there. Draw another line on, and simply rotate that. Keep repeating this process probably another 2 or 3 times until we're happy that we've got it fully round. So the final stage on this is just to sand it. We've got our spear, And it's exactly the same process we did when we finished this off, was just sand everything down one way, rotate it around, sand it, and go through the grits all that way. Now, before I carry on talking about this, before I went to UKIS last week, Robert at Crosscut Creations sent me his sticker, and again, thank you, Robert, for the shout out you gave me on your channel for receiving my sticker. So much appreciated. This will go up on the wall with all my other stickers. This, I've got to say, was dead fun to make. It's, I've got to say, almost perfect. It's something like about 0.1, 0.2 millimeters out of round, which cutting by hand to me is probably about as perfect as I'm going to get it. And all I've done is sanded that to 400, and purely and simply because I haven't given it a finish or anything like that, because I do have something else planned for this, which will hopefully come up on a future project. Now, the thing about these, when you do these, I mean, I've held one of those in by double-sided tape, and I think, I mean, this is only cheap stuff I bought off eBay, which is ideal, but I think when you've got it in there, the pure pressure you've got on the thing basically cuts where it's obviously a lot of pressure on the rim. So double-sided stick tape, good idea. I think really what would probably be better on these is maybe probably a bit of rubber sheeting. The other important thing with making these as well, make sure that you do your cup deep enough. You really do not want this bottoming out in the bottom here on your spear. But these, I've got to say, are absolutely brilliant. I mean, I bought the full one with all 6 attachments, and I think so far I've used probably about 3 or 4 of those attachments so far, but it's so much better than the standard live center you get. So thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you on the next project video.